Harry first noticed Santa in a small neighborhood library. It was a peaceful place, filled with the soft sound of pages turning and the faint scent of old books. He had been visiting that library for months, mostly to escape the noise of the outside world. But that day felt different. Santa sat near the window, sunlight gently falling across her face. She was reading a novel, completely absorbed in it, occasionally smiling at something written on the page. Harry didn't know why, but he found himself looking at her more than once. He quickly looked away, pretending to search for a book. He wasn't the type who easily started conversations, especially with someone he didn't know. Still, something about her calm presence stayed in his mind. Over the next few days, Harry began noticing a pattern. Every afternoon, Santa would arrive around the same time, choose the same corner seat, and quietly read. She seemed comfortable in silence, and Harry admired that. One afternoon, as Santa stood up to return a book, it slipped from her hand and fell to the floor. Harry, who was nearby, immediately picked it up and handed it to her. "Here," he said softly. Santa smiled. "Thank you." That was it, just 2 words, but somehow it felt like the beginning of something. After that day, they started exchanging small greetings, a simple hello, a polite smile, sometimes a short conversation about books. Slowly, the silence between them became comfortable instead of awkward. Harry learned that Santa loved stories about hope and personal growth. Santa discovered that Harry enjoyed reading about real-life experiences and meaningful lessons. They began recommending books to each other. Days turned into weeks. Their conversations grew longer. They started talking about their daily lives, their goals, and even their childhood memories. There was nothing dramatic, just 2 people slowly getting to know each other. One rainy afternoon, Santa was standing outside the library waiting for the rain to stop. She didn't have an umbrella. Harry walked out and noticed her. "You can take this," he said, holding his umbrella slightly toward her. "What about you?" Santa asked. "I don't mind the rain," Harry replied with a small smile. They walked together, under the same umbrella, careful not to step into puddles. It was quiet, but it didn't feel empty. Sometimes silence says more than words. For the first time, Santa felt that Harry wasn't just a friend, and Harry realized that he looked forward to seeing her every day. Neither of them said anything, but something had quietly begun. After that rainy afternoon, things between Harry and Santa began to change in the most natural way. They didn't suddenly become different people, but their conversations felt warmer, more personal, and more meaningful. Now, when Harry entered the library, the first thing he did was look toward the window seat. If Santa was already there, he felt an unexpected sense of calm. If she wasn't, he would pretend to read, but his eyes would occasionally drift toward the door, waiting for her to arrive. Santa noticed this too. She started coming a little earlier than usual, just in case Harry arrived before her. Neither of them admitted it, but they both looked forward to those quiet afternoons together. One day, Santa brought 2 cups of coffee with her. She placed one gently on the table in front of Harry. "I wasn't sure what you like," she said, "so I got something simple." Harry looked surprised, but smiled. "This is perfect, thank you." They sat there, sipping coffee and talking about their favorite childhood memories. Harry spoke about long walks he used to take with his father, while Santa shared stories about how she loved writing in her journal when she was younger. "Do you still write?" Harry asked. "Sometimes," Santa replied, "only when I want to understand my thoughts." Harry nodded. "I think that's a beautiful habit." Moments like these made their bond stronger. It wasn't loud or dramatic, it was built slowly through kindness and understanding. A few days later, they decided to take a short walk after leaving the library. The evening air was cool and the sky was painted in soft shades of orange and pink. They walked side by side, occasionally pointing at small things, a street musician playing softly, children laughing in a nearby park, the smell of fresh bread from a bakery. "I like days like this," Santa said quietly. "Me too," Harry replied. "They feel peaceful." As they reached a small park, they sat on a bench. For a moment, neither of them spoke. They simply watched the sunset. Harry felt like he wanted to say something important, but he wasn't sure how. He didn't want to rush anything. He valued their friendship too much. Santa, on the other hand, felt the same quiet emotion. She didn't need big words. Just being there with Harry felt enough. When it started getting dark, they stood up and walked toward the main road. "See you tomorrow?" Harry asked. Santa smiled. Of course. That simple promise, "see you tomorrow," slowly became the most meaningful part of their day. Neither of them realized it yet, but their lives were already beginning to revolve around each other, gently, quietly, and beautifully. Days passed, and the connection between Harry and Santa grew stronger. What started as simple conversations in a library had slowly turned into something deeper, a bond built on trust, comfort, and understanding. One afternoon, Harry arrived earlier than usual. He chose their usual table near the window and waited. Minutes passed, and Santa didn't arrive. For the first time, he felt restless. He checked the door again and again, wondering if she was busy or if something had come up. Just as he was about to leave, he saw her walking in. She looked slightly tired, but smiled the moment she noticed him. "Sorry I'm late," Santa said, sitting down. "It's okay," Harry replied, though he realized how relieved he felt seeing her. "Long day?" he asked gently. Santa nodded. "Yes, just a lot on my mind." Harry didn't push her to explain. Instead, he quietly slid a small chocolate bar across the table. "I thought you might need this," he said. Santa looked surprised. "You remembered I like chocolate?" Harry smiled. "Some things are easy to remember." That small gesture made Santa feel understood. She didn't need to say much. The silence between them felt comforting. Later that evening, they decided to take another walk. This time, the air was cooler, and a soft breeze moved through the trees. They walked slowly, enjoying the peaceful moment. "Harry," Santa said after a while, "do you ever feel like life changes quietly without us noticing?" He thought for a moment. "Yes. Sometimes the most important things happen slowly." Santa looked ahead, then softly said, "I think meeting you was one of those changes." Harry felt his heart beat faster. He didn't immediately reply, but his expression softened. "I feel the same," he finally said. They reached the park again and sat on the same bench as before. The streetlights had just turned on, casting a warm glow around them. Neither of them said much after that. They didn't need to. Their silence was filled with meaning. As Santa prepared to leave, she paused. "I'm glad we met," she said quietly. Harry nodded. "Me too, more than you know." That night, both of them went home with the same thought. Something beautiful was growing between them, and neither of them wanted to rush it. But they also knew it was only a matter of time before one of them would have to say what they were both already feeling. Thank you for watching this beautiful journey of Harry and Santa's growing bond. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next part of their love story.